Welcome to the Flathead Home Show, where we talk every week about real estate right here in the Flathead Valley. I'm Leah Lindsay.
And I'm Justin Metcha.
And this week, we've got a little twist on our real estate angle. We have Homeward for Heroes with us, and it really is about our vets. We've got Dan and Laura Reese in with us. They've created this incredible nonprofit. Before we break in and start talking about what you guys are doing, we want to thank our sponsors. Thank you, Brian Murphy and Nikki Marengo of Remax Rocky Mountain Real Estate. Glacier Steel Products, roofing and siding, protecting what matters. And Wintrust Mortgage, formerly American Homestead.
We've spent some time talking about the VA loan, the VA buying process.
The veterans in our valley, and so many great needs. You know, my brother's one who has a Bronze Star with a V for Valor was shot through his both lungs and his heart. Amazingly is alive. He's definitely battles a lot of PTSD. Another brother who was EOD in the Army, another brother who's a captain in the Army right now. And Dan, you come right out of the military.
Still in. I have 1 year left.
Well, thank you for your service.
Yes.
How long have you been in?
I have 19 years of service. Basically started in the Marine Corps back in 86. 8 years active duty in the Marines. Stepped on 6 out of 7 continents.
Seen a lot.
I have. Part of the whole reason with this Homeward for Heroes, there's a lot that the military has to offer. The biggest thing that I see is my fellow soldiers fail to step up because there's a doctor involved. Mm-hmm. There's some sort of psychological stuff going on.
An eval or something like that.
And so I enjoy the outdoors. I love the outdoors. Mm-hmm. Montana's a great place to be in the outdoors. And so we decided to come up with this Homeward for Heroes where we're going to take them out and do 3 to 10 day treks, see some cool sights, but it's all about bonding together. Getting them around the campfire, just open up and start talking.
So like post-tour?
Yes.
Okay.
Laura, I know you were talking about our unit from right here in the Flathead that's deployed right now. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, currently it's the 495th that is over in Afghanistan right now. Dan was actually part of that unit right before they deployed, so I know a lot of them, they're family to me.
And how long have they been gone?
They left May of last year.
When are they coming home?
We're hoping that they come home sometime this spring. We don't have a set date yet.
Wow, that's a year.
It's still a year.
A long time.
So do you find the two of you supporting their families?
We reach out to quite a few of them around here. I deployed with them last time in 2012. It's been kind of an interesting twist for me because now I get to see what it's kind of like being a spouse, being left behind. When you're out there in the fight, you don't realize you're just involved and you don't think about home, you know, and then meanwhile you got a spouse that's a wreck because I hear things on the news.
Right.
And you're out there in battle.
Yeah, you're out there in battle, so you know what's going on. You know you're good, you know, or you're in the hospital. One of the two. So you just keep going. And so it's been interesting for me to see both sides of the fence now.
Yeah.
So what I've heard so far is that when they come back post-tour, Homeward for Heroes is an opportunity for them to regain a sense of community, at least peaceful community, correct? Reconnect with their families, other friends or members via going on some adventures, treks outside.
Give them some quality time with their spouse. Be able to connect with other service members or first responders that have gone through some sort of hardship where we can all just be friends, get people to open up. It's very healthy, I think, to share what's going on.
Totally.
You know, and then you're going to make a connection with somebody else that can relate and see it from a different point of view. You know, that's what I really like about bringing in first responders is that, you know, yeah, it's not military, but they still have their hardship.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
And so to bring those two together, I think is going to be cool because there's going to be different angles that each other sees.
And what better to be out in the elements and find that common ground together is almost like teamwork, working together to accomplish this trek.
Yeah, we have this little theme too that we call disconnect to reconnect.
Yeah.
It's like go out in the wilderness, disconnect from your cell phones, what's going on, your routine of your life, and then just reconnect.
I was just thinking about that. Like, clearly I have not had boots on the ground in Afghanistan, and I can't really speak to the stresses that they may be experiencing on a day-by-day, minute-by-minute basis. Really, all I can say is that I've been in the jungle of the Monday through Friday workforce in attempts to keep up with the real estate industry that's moving 100 miles an hour, and yet I still find incredible power in getting out, disconnecting, leaving the phone at home, and reconnecting with my family. So if it means a lot to me, I can't imagine the multiple more times it means to somebody who could totally use that or deserve that, again, to reconnect with their family and their friends and the beautiful sense of being outside in Montana.
Yeah, so
I like the design already.
I want to hear more. Where do we begin? What's up next?
So first of all, we do have a website that's easy to find us on. We have Facebook, Instagram, Google Homeward for Heroes. You can find us out there in those social media and aspects.
Can connect right through those spots?
Exactly. Our goal is to take up to 25 couples.
Wow.
We've done a lot of trips already and plans of places to go. 3 different treks here in Montana that we've done. Really cool, off-the-grid, hot springs in the middle of the mountains, undeveloped.
Nice.
Awesome. How fun is that?
Exactly. I mean, it's a good place to go to unwind.
So wait a minute, this is your job now? You get to go.
Well, that's
do this
my
stuff?
goal, is to make this a job.
I love
We're
it.
trying.
Oh, that's great.
Make it a job by making a difference.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool old ghost towns and mines
Yeah.
and things like that. That's kind of good to just get out there and see the difference of things and then start connecting with people.
So it's not just necessarily right here in the northwest corner of Montana. You guys actually kind of traveling out and about. People coming to Homeward for Heroes from across the Pacific Northwest, or can they come from around the country?
Around the country.
Around the country. We actually just did one in November down in Moab, and we had people from New Mexico, Utah, and
I love that area.
there was a
That area
couple
is so
coming from
cool.
Washington. They weren't able to make it.
Well, this is just an incredible program. Homeward for Heroes. We'll be back in a few moments with the Flathead Home Show. And we're back with the Flathead Home Show, where we talk every week about real estate right here in the Flathead Valley. I'm Leah Lindsay. In the studio, we have Dan and Laura Reese. We're talking about Homeward for Heroes, a nonprofit to help our veterans when they come home disconnect to reconnect. What a wonderful program. Now, Dan and Laura, you were just telling us about how you recently took a trip with veterans to the Moab, and people came from all over the country to be a part of this program.
I actually have a friend that I went to high school with. He's coming over from Indiana with a couple of his battle buddies. He's lost 4 of them to suicide already, and he doesn't want to lose any more. So he's planning a trip out here with his battle buddies to come do this.
Love it.
And let's talk about that. So many of our veterans in active duty, when they come back, it's pretty difficult to reconnect in this world. There's a lot of suicides. Can you talk more about that?
The key is to open up. I've talked to multiple soldiers out of committing suicide, and that was really the first step. Me initiating a conversation with them. I could see it in their eyes that they were hurting, and I just started a conversation with them. All this stuff just blew up as far as what was going on in their life.
And it's probably a lot easier for people to connect with somebody that knows where they are.
Right.
Right. Been there, done that kind of deal. So you have that mutual respect. The whole thing with this Homeward for Heroes is try to get like people together.
Well, and I also think it's great, as Laura, you bring your piece of being the spouse who has been left stateside while your partner is off fighting and protecting our country. So you, I'm sure, connect with the other spouses.
With the
in a
spouses that were left behind. Yes.
totally different way. How about kids? Are kids involved with this? Does that just complicate, and what your goal is to get couples together, or?
That's our main goal, is with the spouses, getting them reconnected together, get the foundation, because that's the core of the family right there, the husband and wife.
What about a single military member?
You know, single people I'd be more than happy to have on board.
So this is a little mixture. You don't
Because
have
single
to be
people
this
actually
or
have less people to, I mean, your spouse
To open
is
up
your
to.
greatest asset, and they don't have that. More than welcome to come along.
I do have to tell you that when I was a Navy wife, I was always reminded that I wasn't assigned with his sea bag, that the Navy could take him whenever they wanted. That's kind of how you feel when your spouse is gone. I mean, I remember
Right.
mine being gone for 10 months at one whack. That's a long time to be alone, especially with a couple of little kids. Your spouse comes back and kids are like, who are you? It takes a little time to kind of settle back in, and especially when you have been active duty in a war zone.
And that's been an issue for me a few times with my family and children. When I come back, I'm used to having command and being in charge in absolutes. You give an order, you expect it. When you come back to the family, it's like your spouse has been doing that. So you can't railroad because she's been doing it different than you would. Step
Sink.
back, hold your tongue.
The Marine has to calm down just a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, and I know, like for my brother, he retired from the Army. And like I said, he was shot. And he always says that day that he was shot, that was not the worst day he ever saw. Nothing compared to some of the things he saw.
Wow.
For him, trying to find someone besides the bottle
Right.
or some other escape.
How soon after a tour do people come to Homeward?
Ideally, I want to give them 2 months to get home, kind of mesh back in with the family. and then go from there. And then it's pretty much the door is wide open. Right now, we're just getting off the ground, so there's not a lot there. So we plan one big event a year right now. The door is open for more. So if we got a group of people that are available in May, let's go in May. Right now, we currently have one
Into July.
planned for 10 days.
And is that hopefully going to coincide with the return of our
That's the goal with that one.
okay,
is
of
our
our
goal.
unit that's coming
It
back?
is. With a 10-day trek, if you only have 3 days, and hang out with us for 3 days. And that's the beauty of doing the overlanding is that you can come and go as you need to. It
So what about someone like my brother who's been out now for about 5 years?
doesn't matter. More than welcome.
Never too late.
Never too
Never too
late.
late.
You are always welcome to come join us on a trek.
Now that's beautiful because I think sometimes it takes some time to process things and get to a point where maybe you are open. I love this idea.
I do too.
Yeah.
Homeward
it's beautiful.
for Heroes. We want to know how we as a community can support you.
Well, currently we do have our social media, like Dan mentioned earlier. You can make donations. They are tax deductible. We are a 501c3 organization registered with GuideStar. If you want to make a donation, you can go to our website, homewardforheroes.com. We are also on Facebook and Instagram. Both of them have donation buttons as well. Or you can just simply email us at homewardforheroes with a 4 in it, homewardforheroes at gmail.com. And we can take donations that way or answer any questions. Even on our website, we do have a place where you can email us and we can answer questions that way, or we can also chat with you online as well.
I think I'm your newest fan.
Whether you're in the military or you're a first responder or you're a veteran, it doesn't matter if it was during Vietnam.
Absolutely.
Right.
There is
Homeward
no
for
time.
Heroes is here for you.
Disconnect or reconnect. I also like how this is based out of Northwest Montana, which really is kind of the nation's hub for adventure. I mean, we
Correct.
really are. And you've opened the doors to allow people from across the nation who have served our communities and their communities to come here for that sort of escape or release and therefore reconnection in efforts to make a difference in what would otherwise be perhaps probably pretty catastrophic for somebody who doesn't have any assistance. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you to our sponsors, Brian Murphy and Nikki Marengo, Remax, Rocky Mountain Real Estate, Glacier Steel Products, Roofing and Siding, Protecting What Matters, and Wintrust Mortgage, formerly American Homestead. Homeward for Heroes. Find them online, Facebook, find them on Instagram. What an amazing way to support our military, our veterans, and our first responders. Bless you both for what you're doing, making a huge difference. Thank you to Dan and Laura Reese, and we will be back next weekend with another edition of the Flathead Home Show.
Hey, Flathead.
Welcome, Homeward for Heroes.